From our studios in New York City and Miami, Florida, you are listening to The Striking Corner with Eric Rivera and Vinny Scotto.
So guys, this is our first Facebook Live podcast of The Striking Corner. If you guys are watching and you can hear us and you can hear Vinny and I myself, we're testing it still. So let us know. Let us know in the comments if you guys hear us. That would be fun. All right, so 2 minutes and 21 seconds in. Now we're at 5 viewers. We're just really fucking boring. That's what it is.
Oh, they're dropping like flies.
There's 3 now. All right, so I guess because everybody is inside and everybody really can't go out. We're all kind of stuck in this whole situation. You decided it would be a good time to do a Striking Corner podcast. And just kind of talk about a bunch of different things. We're still trying to see if more people will join in, and then we'll kind of do more. But I was kind of thinking about just like reminiscing through some of how people got into Muay Thai. I know my story about how I got into it, and like some of the first fights we saw that we were hooked on, and what kind of got us in there. Have people chime in and talk about what fights did they see on TV? What fights did they see on DVD? Because back in the day, we had to get a lot of us had to get like DVDs or CDs shipped in order to see fights from like Lumpini or Raja. So for those of us that were like diehard, couldn't really see them until like a delay. So just wanted to see if we kind of get that conversation going and just keep our minds off of all the bullshit going on. And then that's pretty much it.
But if you keep mentioning it, it's hard for people to keep their minds off of it. You do realize that, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like you can't talk about it.
So why don't you tell us your story, Eric? Oh, let's see. We got comments. How's the situation down in Florida, Eric? I think I'm your only friend right now. Yeah, Anna's our only friend right now.
Exactly. All right, we got Anna, you were asking me about the situation down here. It's getting worse, just
Sean Madden.
Sean McFadden is here. One of my favorite people. So things down here in Florida, yeah, man, they're pretty bad. They're not pretty bad, but I'm saying they're just I guess they are what they are, like people, this is where everybody was spring breaking and then ended up getting sick and then went back to their hometowns and got everybody else sick. So, that's how we managed down here.
Yeah.
Sunny place for shady people. They all went back to New York.
Yeah, man. We're getting killed up here.
Yeah, man. So if Madden's on here, how's it out there in Colorado, man? Let us know.
Well, why don't we get to talking about Muay Thai, which is what we do. So, I don't know. That's your department. You start it. You know me. I'm like the
color commentator. Exactly.
I'm the color guy. You're the play-by-play here. So,
but your color commentary just consists of you, chiming in, insulting me. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Sean Madden. We're on lockdown until April 30th here. Yeah, pretty much. So I think pretty much how everybody's doing, really.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the topic that I wanted to get into, so let's get into the topic. So really the topic we wanted to get into was kind of like a little bit of a Muay Thai history in the sense of, what were the fights, whether Muay Thai or kickboxing, what were the fights that got you guys into the sport? Because a lot of us came, I guess, a lot of us kind of came from different backgrounds. Vinny and I, we talked a lot about Sanshao and then, doing Kung Fu and things like that. Well, Vinny came in. He didn't ever do Kung Fu. He'll say that.
I did it for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I used to do like Kung Fu, like forms and everything like that. And that's kind of how I started. But then I started, they had a Sanchow program, which was basically, it was like 1 day a week that we would actually do like full contact sparring. And they did Sanchow, which is, I don't want to say it's Muay Thai with throws, because now that we, talk so much about Muay Thai and we're, part of the USMF, that's not the way to describe it. But it's basically
the best way to describe it is that it's the Chinese form of kickboxing.
Correct.
And the rule set is kicks, punches, occasionally knees, because some events don't always allow knees. At least that's how it was when we were doing it.
Yeah.
But kicks, punches, knees, and judo throws and takedowns.
Correct. So you were allowed to do throws. You just weren't allowed to. Your like knee couldn't hit the ground, like when you were trying to do a throw. So you couldn't.
Well, that also
shoot.
Depended.
Yeah.
It also depended on who was sanctioning it. Some tournaments allowed you to do double legs and single legs where your knee touched the ground. Others didn't.
Yeah, correct. So that's how we got started. But then, so I started watching it, and obviously the first people I started watching, because I was doing Sanchow, was definitely tuning in and watching a lot of Kung Lee's videos. A lot of videos out of China with the wushu tournaments. And then, Rudy Ott, which is a guy that we've talked to here before, and maybe hopefully he can jump on later. But, Rudy Ott was a guy we saw fight a couple times. And so that's kind of how I got into it. But then I started watching videos really of K1. Started seeing a lot of K1, mostly K1 Max, because even though I was heavyweight, I just always had more of an appreciation for the speed and more of the technique shown. Not to say that the big guys don't have technique, but I'm just saying I just like the speed of the fight in K1 Max. And so obviously I think I wouldn't say it was the first exposure I had of Muay Thai, but Buakaw was a big deal. He was just showing up, in K1.
I think K1 is pretty much where we all started watching, because for a period of time, that's all that was really available.
Yeah, for a period of time it was, but I think there's a lot of people that have been in this game for quite some time. I would say like our friend Stefan, Brian Popejoy, all these guys that are they kind of always knew about some of the stuff going on, obviously in Thailand, and they were I know that there was a lot of people that were watching videos that were getting brought from Thailand or shared on K1 Fans, which was a forum, and a forum where everybody was sharing videos. So that's kind of a way that we could see them, but it was really delayed. It was months later we would see these fights. Yeah. So everything now that we have where people are seeing fights live from the stadiums, that is just an incredible sort of commodity now. It's just such a novelty now, and it's so great to have that. But, I think people nowadays are lucky to see that, because that's not how it was when we got started. It was you'd see fights, a month after they happened. You see a Lumpini champion months after it happened. So we got Sean, our boy Sean here. He said, started under Dwayne Ludwig. Awesome. Shout out to Dwayne Ludwig and that whole team that bang Muay Thai. Introduced to a lot of those guys. Masato, of course, one of the top dogs. K1 guy. Of course, everybody knows Masato. We were huge fans of him. And then everybody was dreaming for that. I remember everybody was dreaming for that Masato Buakaw fight. And when it finally went down, it was just an amazing opportunity. Just watching K1 Max was such an event in itself. They were so exciting. And I'm not saying that, Muay Thai hasn't, I don't think kickboxing has lost its luster in that. I still think we have, with Glory and some of these bigger shows, and especially now with One Championship, we're getting back to that. But K1 Max was just so crazy. It was such an event, the videos beforehand and the show, the entertainment value, which for us Americans, I think that's the one thing that might be missing for a lot of people when it comes to Muay Thai. For the normal, I guess the everyday fan to get into Muay Thai, that might be what's kind of missing, is that big, those big flashing lights. Because that was what I loved about K1, and it's kind of what I like about One Championship now, is that it's got the traditional, but it's still got all the entertainment value. I
like One a lot even though, you guys know me, I'm not a huge fan of MMA, but I'll watch it on one just because that it's not about the douchebaggery and WWE antics that the UFC is about.
Mhm.
So I actually enjoy MMA fights on one sometimes.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like one a lot. I like what they're doing. I like the fact that they're keeping it traditional in the sense that they're really playing up the whole martial artistry of it. And it goes back to, because I think a lot of us that got into Muay Thai, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys that are coming in here and chiming in.
We got Dan from Combat Corner on.
Oh, Dan, what's up, man? What's going on, man? How you doing out there? Let us know, man. Let us drop us a line, man. Let us know how it's going out there, man, in the Midwest. So yeah, man. So like going back to, I like what one's doing. I like the fact that they're keeping it traditional, going back to the martial arts roots, which I feel is kind of like, and I think it's been said, I forgot who was saying it, but a lot of people were talking about how like one was bringing back the mixed martial arts, the martial arts in the term mixed martial arts. And there's a lot of people that shit on the whole, Muay Thai snobbery and that kind of thing. And I get it. I understand it. There's a part of me that still kind of does that occasionally. But I think, if we want to grow in America, we have to realize that the American palate when it comes to fighting, the European palate when it comes to fighting is just like that. It needs to see some, I wouldn't say shit talking, but it definitely needs to see some drama. It needs to see some lights. It needs to see it needs to have some sort of drama. It needs to have a little bit of shit talking here and there, and that excitement in order for people to tune in.
I think education is the most important above all that other shit.
Man, I think so too, but I think they're going to, you're not going to get your everyday fight fan to tune in just through education, man. I mean, because like, I think we've talked about this too. Like a lot of people are not going to just, like it's the whole thing with Muay Thai, like talking about the Mong Kong and talking about the Y crew and talking about the music and the culture behind it. There's going to be people, a lot of it, like it looks foreign to them. And they really just want to see two people go in there and fight. And so really like you kind of got to bring them in slowly. So you got to have all the other bullshit and then just kind of bring them in and kind of pepper them with those little tidbits of information so that they get a little bit smarter about it. But I think we're seeing it more and more with MMA. Like I do feel like definitely, mixed martial arts is, as a whole, there are a lot of mixed martial arts fans, and not everyone, because there's a terrible amount that are just terrible people, but there's a lot of mixed martial arts fans that do really know about Muay Thai, do really know about, the ins and outs of jiu-jitsu and the other art forms, and they are well versed in it, but they are the minority. They are not the majority of people. They are not the fight fans, that we would all like to have. They are the ones that kind of, the common fight fan is still just kind of that just bleed guy that everybody knew from the UFC. Sorry,
you're starting to bore me, so I'm entertaining myself with my phone. You're talking about the same shit you always talk about.
Okay, so enlighten me, Vin. Enlighten me, Vinny.
But we already went through this. I don't have anything to say. You're the play-by-play guy. I just like to comment on the shit you say.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. How did you get into Muay Thai then?
Well, I mean, that, and we've spoke about this before. I actually just spoke about this recently because throughout this whole thing, I've been doing live Q&As with everyone from my gym just to keep the engagement going, keep everybody active and stay on top of it. So I gave them, which on a daily basis, people come in, they train, they leave. You don't really get to have a lot of conversation. So I'm actually, the whole Q&A thing, getting more engagement, having more conversation with people, I'm actually kind of enjoying because it doesn't happen often. Mm-hmm. So not everybody who comes to my gym knows my story or how I started, which it's very similar to the way you started because we started in the same place.
Yeah.
So, I started going to the Kung Fu place because it was close to my house and I found I started in cardio kickboxing and kung fu, which I did kung fu for about 2 weeks, and I didn't like the pants or the sash or the shoes that they made me wear. And then I went to the cardio kickboxing class, and my goals originally were just to meet some new people because I was new to Florida at the time, and stay in shape because I was starting to get fat, which I've continued doing since then.
Yeah.
But
I have to, so it's fine.
Yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah.
So what I was then I saw you guys training Sanchow, and I was like, oh, what's that? So then I tried that out for a little bit. And even then, when I first started, I said, oh, I just want to learn this. I didn't even want to spar at first.
Yeah.
It was just not a goal of mine. My goals were just making friends, getting in shape. That was it. But then as I continued with it, I trained a little more. I said, oh, I need to see Vinny Kung Fu photos. There are none, Dan, because I didn't do it long enough for there to be a picture. So anyway, so I started seeing the Sanchow. I trained it a little bit, and then after a while, then I wanted to put into action what I had learned. So that's how I got into sparring and then into competing, and then from there, we can go into a whole debauchery of drama and talk about how we went from Sanchow to Muay Thai, but we can leave that out today.
Yeah.
Just we'll leave it to the fact that the coach at the Sanchow school did not offer us enough days to train there. So then we started training Muay Thai on other days. He didn't like that we were training somewhere else. We tried to compromise and tell him to give us more days, and we wouldn't. That didn't work, so then we left. And we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
that's how the story
there was a lot of drama behind the whole leaving thing, which tends to happen in the martial arts community, but I think more so in the past than it does now. But I do still think there is that. But just think, like traditional Chinese kung fu schools, for a lot of you that don't know, there is that kind of like very traditional, like you can't train at two places at the same time. You can't cross train, that kind of stuff. Like it was, and then we were getting into that point where, we wanted to go somewhere else, and it was just
there was no growth.
Yeah, there was no growth. But yeah, so I think Sean, you chimed in. Think it's a mix of both. Like Eric said, it needs the entertainment value. We have to hook fans like that at first. Once we hook them, then we can educate, like Vinny said. The problem is, in order to increase the entertainment value, you have to take away pieces of Muay Thai that make it Muay Thai. Yeah, tough situation for sure. And especially, because especially like Vinny and I, that we really talk a lot about the USMF and the growth of the USMF and, what the USMF is trying to do under Michael Corley, which, he's been a great leader with that in the sense of, trying to really showcase authentic Muay Thai, or not authentic Muay Thai. I don't like to use that term, but I like to use the term that the same Muay Thai and the way they're judging it across the board for international competitions that, we want to, as the US, we want to excel at. That's really what we're trying to push, and we're trying to push that Muay Thai, and a lot of it. I think Pete Peterson brought it up too. He said, the scoring for IFMA is the scoring, essentially is the, as close to the scoring from the Thai stadiums that we can get. So essentially, we are in a way trying to preserve what Muay Thai is in essence, and
it is the same criteria between IFMA and the stadiums. Mm-hmm. The only difference is what is allowed in the stadiums because of the gambling.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Certain things that they'll call. I mean, but there are some differences because it's a difference between what's considered pro and amateur. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, the criteria and the rule sets are the same.
Yeah. No, and so I'm saying, like, there's a lot of things that we lost. When I first came back from Thailand many years ago, and the first things when I saw that
Eric was the Thaiest person you ever met when he came back.
I was the obnoxious fucker like that you guys hate, that a lot of people hate on in our Muay Thai community, that would wide everybody and would mandate that we do like a full Y crew before the fights and things like that. I was like that for a good while. And I think it's, man, I would say I think it's natural when you don't know shit, but you think you know shit, and then you go to Thailand, and then you come back and you think you know more than everybody else, but then you realize, you know, there's a lot of people that know more than you. And I was just young and fucking stupid, so now I feel like I've definitely outgrown that, but I still love the traditional parts of it, and I still feel like those parts are really an important thing. Like, not to get, you know, it's what keeps it from. How would I say, man? Like, we always talk about like MMA becoming too WWE. We talk about all that type of stuff. And as much as I love kickboxing, but kickboxing is a different art form. So I hate people like kind of lumping them together. Like, I think kickboxing came from a different place, and it kind of has always had a little bit more of the showmanship and shit like that, because it comes from, you know, it got tied in with a lot of the Western. It got westernized faster than Muay Thai did. So Muay Thai, in a way, I think what keeps it Muay Thai, what keeps it unique, what keeps it, I guess, being a different thing. And for us, the selling point of it is that cultural stuff. For me, that is what makes it interesting. Aside from it being, you know, a really brutal fighting sport that's amazing to watch, all those other things, you know, the Y crew, the Prajad, the, you know, the flower garlands, the Y crew, you know, all the traditional stuff, you know, all of the nuances that you see in Thai stadiums, and, you know, yeah, the gambling, you know, you could say, yeah, definitely is plays too much of a part in the sport, and is kind of ruin it in some places. But a lot of those little things are part of the culture that is inherently, I would say, is part of Thailand. So it is where the sport came from. And I think we don't want to lose all that either. You know, I think it's the same thing. Like, if you do jujitsu, you know, you don't lose. Well, jujitsu now, it's like Brazilian jujitsu is one thing, and then, you know, Japanese jujitsu is something else. But I think, you know, there's still a lot of traditional to it. You know, you're still using the gi, and you're still using all that stuff, and that stuff is all part of that. And there's still a very karate traditional mentality. I mean, you guys say us after every class. I mean, it's the same shit. Like, we try to keep that traditional part of it. And I don't know why Muay Thai, we have to strip all those things that make it unique away in order to get it to grow. I think we should be able to keep all that stuff without being annoying about it. So,
well, it's because it's looked at differently. I mean, when you look at, it's really also the way that the gyms function.
mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at karate, they consider them schools, and it is known for discipline and stuff like that. You know, the way Muay Thai has been promoted in this country has always been a ring sport.
Yeah.
So that's why, where the difference comes in. So if you're going to promote it as a ring sport, then yeah, you're going to have to take away some of the traditions of it, because people who just want to see ring sports don't care about the traditions. They just want to see the fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you start promoting it more as traditional martial art, which it can be both because of the traditions of it. If you start doing it as both, then you don't have to lose the tradition. So it's like, for example, like the way I function at my gym, my youth programs, even my adult programs, I teach them as martial arts. You know, I don't teach them, because not everybody's going to fight. Not everybody's going to go in the ring. And you're not going to run a gym by teaching people just how to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to teach them martial arts, and you have to instill in them martial arts traditions. And that's what's going to make them like it. And that's what's going to make them tell their friends. And at the same time, they are getting a lot of benefits of learning how to fight and learning how to defend themselves, gaining confidence, all that stuff. But it all depends on how it's portrayed to begin with, in my opinion.
True. Youssef is saying, did training in Thailand change the way you think about thinking Muay Thai culture wise? Yeah. I mean, it's kind of what Vinny's talking about. You do have to, you realize, you know, Muay Thai in Thailand, it's, you know, it is, I don't want to say, you know, we can't say, you know, it's not about money and all that type of stuff, because it definitely is about money.
That's what it's all about in Thailand.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about that in Thailand. It's all about money, but there is an underlying part of it that is still regardless of the fact that it's about money, there's still a very underlying part of it that is inherently something that the Thais are proud of, and it is cultural to them because it is a sport that they, in essence grew through all of Southeast Asia, but in essence it became what it is today because of how big it became in Thailand and how much they kind of modernized the sport in a way to be consumed by, I would say, consumed by the masses and be how would I say, gain a following worldwide. The Muay Thai we see today is where it is today because of what Thailand did with it, and
I wonder, talking about this, I wonder if we got Muay Thai shows in Vegas at the casinos and had a Thai style gambling on the fights, if it would grow as popular, if it would get more popular.
You mean like people yelling in the crowd and shit?
Yeah, like same Thai style betting.
It's almost like you were betting on horses kind of thing. That kind of style.
Yeah. I wonder if that would make a difference. I wonder if that's the route we need to go to make this happen.
I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I don't know if there's anybody out there in Vegas that's watching us. I mean, we've only got fucking 8 people in here. But, if there's anybody out there from Vegas that knows that, I mean, what is that keeping it? You're allowed to bet on fights when they're in Vegas, right? They have and all that stuff that's going on there, I mean, I think that would still, I think that should help the aspect of it, but I don't know. That's something that remains to be seen. I think somebody said it's like the lightning in a bottle. Like, what is going to be the thing that gets Muay Thai to blow up in America? Man, I don't know. We've tried so many different things. You've had these great shows here in the United States where they've brought Buakaw, when they had Muay Thai Premier League. You've had your big names. You'd have your big shows like the M1 card where you had Romeo Danza and you had Kevin Ross and you had Joe Schilling fighting big Muay Thai names and knocking them out. And we had Lion Fight bringing in Simon Marcus and Yodson Clay and Fabio Pinca and everything. And we had all the big names. And still it's just it hasn't been able to catch on the same way. So it's, how do you do that? What is it that's missing? That's kind of the strange thing to me because it's not quality of fighters. Quality of fighters has been there. We've seen some epic matchups here in the United States. But the thing is they're not household names yet. They're not. And the thing is, the household names took a long time to develop. Kevin Ross and Joe Schilling, as big as they were, and they are. I mean, they didn't become big until later in their careers. I think for the masses. So it's really going to take somebody. Are we going to have like a young kid that's like 17, 18, going to Thailand? And I think that's the one thing. Is there going to be like a 16, 17-year-old kid, American, living in Thailand that like is fighting him in the big stadiums and things like that and winning in local circuits, that there's going to be like a story here in the United States about how this kid is like, beating up, Thais in Thailand at their own game. And it becomes some sort of a way that people kind of gravitate towards this sport because it's an American doing it. And we don't really have much of that, man.
Well, I mean, honestly, we always talk about this. I think it's going to grow with the youth because now with a lot of gyms having youth programs and exposing it to kids more, I think it's just as time goes on, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger because, the youth programs and gyms are growing. Yeah.
And that's the one thing though. They are growing and it's good. And I like how everything is growing, but I think it kind of sometimes goes back to some of the stuff Eric Haycraft, I think, talks about too, is that we kind of encounter, which is what you have been trying to do and what Stefan Strautmeier has been trying to do and the USMF has been trying to do, which is educate, sort of having that baseline of rule sets, to kind of educate the youth with the Youth Development League, like the one you put on in New York for the first time. What was that, back in October, was it?
Yep.
Yeah. So those type of things, because that goes back to the whole education part you were talking about, which was, one of the things that Eric Haycraft always talks about is that we have athletes and everything, but do we have coaches that are really training them at the level to get to that world level, or are they still very green in their training for high level athletes? They're still, there are only a few, I would say, like mega coaches that we have here in the United States that have really groomed some big champions. They're still just a handful. It's really got to catch on more, like everything, this whole USMF and breeding the youth fighters still has to catch on more and more and more, but it has to be the environment has to be very, I think, it's got to be very cohesive. So everybody's kind of got to be on the same page. And we see that sometimes that doesn't always happen because everybody thinks their way is the best way, So it's more of the community still trying to come together and realize, hey man, we're trying to push this one idea because we've seen that the proof is in the pudding, that it does work, especially with the youth. We've seen it works, they're going to fucking Thailand and doing it, So it's kind of like getting other people to latch on to that and get that, get there. And the coaches have to jump on board too. Cause I think we're still green when it comes to solid Muay Thai coaching. Cause you see it from other countries, there's some very solid coaching staffs. And we have it here, but it's still very, very much, I think, in a handful, and it's still got to evolve. Let's see. Youssef.
You know what? I mean, so right now, yeah, this is all stuff we've spoken about this over and over, what we feel, and even we've had people on and what most people feel needs to be done in order for the sport to grow. But now we're facing a whole new issue at the moment, which, we don't want to get in too much with it because of how negative it is, but it's going to be an issue because think how many shows have been canceled right now? How many fighters are not able to train? How many gyms are not able to open? So we're in a whole different world right now where we don't even know, we don't even see the light at the end of the tunnel yet to when we're going to come out of this and things are going to be able to go back to normal. But what's going to happen is we don't even know what the new normal is going to be.
Yeah.
Because I think things are going to change. A lot of things are going to change permanently.
For sure.
I was listening to someone today or yesterday, I don't know, whatever. He's a traditional martial arts school owner, owns a lot of schools, probably about 7 or 8. And what he said to me is about 20th, well, actually not to me, but in his video, about 20 or 30% of schools, gyms, academies, whatever you refer to it as, are not going to reopen again after this. And that's going to be a problem because when you're trying to grow a sport, and the only way to really do that at the moment is through local gyms spreading the word to people. Now 20 or 30% of them are not going to reopen. Now you lose all that potential to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then on top of it, 3 million people have been unemployed overnight. So the gyms that do reopen are probably going to lose 20 to 30% of their membership base. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a tough situation. I mean, and for those of you out there that are not gym owners, not fighters that are going to return to their gym regardless, just if you're a casual enthusiast, one thing I want to say is, and this is not because I own a gym, but if you can, throughout this situation, if you can stay and support your gym, do it, because there's a chance that their doors won't open again if you don't support them. So, and if you like going there, if you're a part of the community, you like the community that you're in, just keep supporting them as much as you can.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can't stress that enough, but I also don't, I'm not, as a lot of you guys know, I mean, I have a regular corporate job, I do the Striking Corner. I don't own a gym, it's kind of like one of my dreams to have one and put together. But, kind of live, I would say, in a way, vicariously through Vinny, and always kind of see what he's doing. And in a lot of way, man, it sucks because we talk about it and everything and the struggles he's going through right now. And I see so many of you, all of you guys that are in the Muay Thai community are friends of mine. And I see so many of you trying to stay afloat, doing the online thing, trying to get people to stay and not cancel. And I think, it's unfortunately, yeah, it's a reality of kind of like every small business out there right now is trying to stay afloat somehow. And I would say, yeah, I mean, we want to push as many people as they can to, kind of, a lot of people have been putting it out there. If you still want to go back, if the gym has done so much for you, because we know a lot of us know this, that, gyms become like families, for me, and Vinny knows obviously well, which is like Jose, our coach down here. Jose is our coach down here in Florida. For us, that's our hangout. Rami. That's our hangout.
Rami's
spot. Oh, Rami. Rami's in here.
What's up, Rami?
Yeah, that's USMF royalty right there, man. I hope you're doing well, Rami, man. I know things are tough out there, man. So yeah, man, I mean, it just really sucks because, like I said, I'm looking at everybody and they're just struggling through this, man, and just trying to keep their head above water. And, a lot of people have been putting that one thing that I wanted to go back to, which was, for a lot of us, the fight gyms are more than fight gyms. Our gyms, I don't want to call them fight gyms. Our gyms are more than gyms. They are families. I mean, for you and I, Jose was like family. We hung out there all the time. That's where we hung out, man. That's where we would spend hours upon hours just talking about everything, for Jose, Jose for me is almost like like a big brother, he's like the big, I would just say, well, a little brother. He's a little big brother, but cause he's a small, short guy. But he's like, he's like family. And, I'm pretty sure for a lot of your gyms out there, for a lot of you guys, gym owners out there, and for a lot of you guys that are fighters and love the sport, I think you can feel that same way, that that the gym for you is like a second home. And if you guys still want to have that second home to go back to when all this crap with, coronavirus is over, if you can do it, and it is, something that you can do, please keep on supporting your gyms. However you can, paying your dues, join them online for all those courses that they're doing and they're trying to do. Don't leave them hanging, man. It's just the same way you would want to keep your business afloat. They're trying to do it too. So, I mean, yeah, but I think Vinny could say more about it. And, Rami, I'm sure he could say more about that kind of stuff because it's tough, man. It's tough. I think everyone's going through a really rough time, but we're all trying to pull through, man.
Yeah, and it's not just gyms; it's all small businesses.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone's having a hard time right now, just because it's just the situation. Every business had to pretty much close overnight, no warning, nothing else. So any small business that you've been a patron of, whether it's a gym, whether it's today I ordered groceries from a local small mom and pop supermarket. Yeah. Just because I want to support small business, because the corporations, the big corporations, they're going to be fine. Most of them will probably get some kind of bailout or whatever it is. They'll be fine. So any small business that you go to on a regular basis, don't stop now. Continue supporting them, because now is when small businesses need it the most.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's true. I mean, like I was talking about, there's this local pizzeria that are around the corner from me that I love the food that they cook, man. I'm trying to go. I go to them when we're tired of cooking at home. I'm trying to go to them and keep their business afloat. And they've been telling me they've been getting a lot of support from the community. So there's a lot of little things like that where people just trying to stay up through all this. And, and we have to go back too, because at the same time, everyone's trying to practice social distancing and doing all this stuff to flatten the curve and everything. Everyone's trying to do that. But it's kind of like we're trying to play a balancing act between, I was just watching things on TV too, playing a balancing act between, do I go out and potentially get sick, or do I to make money, or to bring back money to support my home, or do I stay in and just everything falls apart? And that's what a lot of people.
Where are you going? There's nowhere to go.
No. I'm talking about, because I was watching this thing where it was this guy that's doing like deliveries. Like deliveries, like those guys that are doing deliveries for for elderly people that they're going and doing the groceries. And one guy was like, yeah, I shouldn't be doing it, but it's like, if I don't go out and do it, I'm not making money, for my house, for my home. And this is a guy like that just moved here from another country, so he's still trying to do it, and he's struggling to stay afloat too. But at the same time, it's like they're telling him to stay at home, and at the same time, he's like, if I stay at home, everything falls apart. So I think that's where everyone's in a tough situation too, because you're trying to do these. I mean, the one thing I think that we're lucky of, especially with, I've seen so many people in the Muay Thai community doing a lot of the gyms, is putting in all these like online classes. Everybody's doing it. They're trying to keep it afloat. They're trying to do that. The scary thing is how long is that? I mean, how long does that last? How long are people going to continue doing that?
That's a tough situation. I mean, I'm doing virtual live streams too at this, right now. Mm-hmm. For all of my members, we're doing them pretty much the same as our regular class schedule, but and we're getting decent participation. Not all of our members are joining in, but a lot of them are. But it's only it's only going to last so long before they're like, all right, this isn't doing it for me,
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, when it comes to this whole, virtual situation, someone who started in a class atmosphere in person, they're not going to feel the same. Yeah, you can give them as much value as you want. You can teach them techniques. You can teach them other things. As a martial artist, we can teach life lessons, and especially to kids, we can teach them confidence, a lot of different things just based off, experience, without always having to be in person. That's just because of the stuff that we've learned through martial arts and what we've been through and gained. But there comes a certain point where when you started in classes in person, where you're going to feel that virtual system is not enough. Mm-hmm. It's just that's my opinion. That's just the way it is. If you started in virtual classes, then you're fine, because that's what you know.
Yeah.
And I do see this virtual market for martial arts probably going to become a thing once this is all done, but it's not going to keep the people who started in classes. They're going to go back to classes. That's what they know. That's what they like. That's what they're going to go back to. Well, there may be a couple people that do enjoy it from home more, mm-hmm. but most are going to go back.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, really honestly, I think the upside to if you can look at the silver lining of all this, is that when it is over, and it will be over at one point, it's just, hopefully sooner rather than later, I think it's going to really, what we're really getting is an appreciation in a lot of ways for these things that we took for granted, which is going out in the sense in these social gatherings, but especially when it comes to our gyms. Because I really feel like, once again, man, I feel like, especially, I don't know if it's just a Muay Thai thing. It's obviously not just a Muay Thai thing, but I feel like it's a martial arts thing, in the sense that our gyms are small communities. Your gym in Staten Island is a small community of Staten Island, where the people know you and they all hang out. And I'm sure they don't just go home after they work out and feel like, oh, it's done. It's a place where they kind of get a feeling of, that's one thing we always try to do in martial arts, is it's a place of belonging. It's a place where a lot of times the kids, the outliers, some of them, like when we talk about bullying and all that type of stuff, it's the kids that don't have a place to go to, or feel like they're outliers in school, or maybe even in their own families. They go to a place where they are appreciated and they are loved, and they are, their talent is nurtured in a sense, and it grows.
That's the way it works. Like,
yeah,
I can give you two examples. I've had members of my gym, they met at my gym and got married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it becomes a community. Like I have some other of my members that they said the only friends I hang out with now, the only friends I have now are people they met at the gym.
Yeah. Well, you're my only friend, Vinny, and I met you at the gym, and you're not even really my friend, though. You fuck.
Yeah, because I don't even really like you that much. But we met at the gym. We weren't friends before.
Yeah.
But that's how we became friends, and that's what the community can do. And it's not just Muay Thai. That's any martial arts can create that community.
Yeah, for sure.
So, JJ, how you doing, bud?
What's up, JJ?
So where were we? I lost my train of thought.
No, you were saying like it's a community, and that's what you know. We weren't friends before this. We met, our friendship began there, and that's what a lot of people how they're beginning.
I have a question for you, actually.
Yeah.
Since you've been a lazy sack of shit for the past years,
yes,
and have not trained or been to the gym,
yeah,
you can't go. Do you feel like you want to?
Fuck yeah, man! I always feel like I want to go, man. I always feel like I want to go to the gym.
If you want to go more?
I want to go more, yeah, for sure. I even bought these like the fucking what is it? The egg weights. You've seen those? The egg weights. Those are the ones yeah, I bought them because I was like, man, I want to get back into shadow boxing and all this bullshit because I keep on seeing all these online things and I'm like, damn, man.
Did you buy the one that like you jerk it too? Did you buy one of those?
Yeah, the shake weight. Dude, I've had that.
Shake weight, yeah.
I've had that for years, man. But no, yeah, no, man, it's just, for me, it's always been like, I still, like I said, man, I live vicariously from all of my friends that are fucking gym owners and are doing things because I haven't set foot in a gym probably since Sebastian was born and he's like 2 years old now. So yeah, I haven't been in a gym. Maybe I've gone to visit Jose. That's it, but I haven't trained, and that's unfortunately and then my corporate life was crazy before. Now I'm actually happy it's in a better spot, but then this thing obviously is terrible. And I'm worried about my job too, and things like that. I work in
you work for a cruise line. Exactly. You should be worried.
Of course. Yeah. I work in the cruise industry, which is one of the major ones that got hit, and we're all working virtually and just kind of honestly just trying to tell people it'll all get better soon. So that's kind of the thing, it's, I think all of us are in a difficult situation and thinking about what we're going to do after this. But I think, like I said, one of the things I wanted to get back to was that whole thing where I just felt like, yeah, the community aspect of martial arts is something that I feel like what
do we got? We got Pete Peterson and Pat Rivera. What's up, guys?
What's up? What is up, guys? Yeah. Hold on.
Go ahead.
I was trying to put your name in there, but you disappeared from my screen.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So,
I don't need to be there. It's all right. My name's more important. What are you doing?
I just put you in there. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so no, we were just talking about how, for Pat, what's up, man? How you doing? Pete, hope everything is doing well. I know we're all going through this crazy shit. Hope you guys are doing good, staying safe, staying healthy. I know you guys are all doing your online stuff. Chime in, let us know what's up. But yeah, we were just talking about it. Like I said, I feel like we're really going to take that. A lot of people are taking this whole with the whole social distancing thing, and especially with the Muay Thai community, is we may have taken our gyms for granted for a long time. Taking that whole feeling of hey man, the gym was like my hangout spot. Is more than just the gym. We may have taken that for granted, and this might be a good thing in the end. If we look at the silver lining, it definitely is going to be an opportunity for people when they come back. When they come back, they're going to be really excited.
Of the day?
Silver lining? Yeah, man. You always got to look at the silver lining. But yeah, no, I feel like the sense of community and all that shit is the people are going to be really appreciative when they come back. But goes back to what you were saying is, if you really love your gym, you got to do what you can if you can, and if it's not something that's gonna take food out of your mouth in this situation. Definitely keep supporting your gyms and help you realize that they're trying to get through this and they don't have any other way to do it. And that their virtual classes are really all they can offer you, but they're still trying to offer you stuff and, do as much as you can to hang in there with them. I think if I could, man, if I was a millionaire or billionaire, I'd fucking try to throw money to all my friends, but shit doesn't happen that way. Unfortunately, we don't have billionaire friends. When are we going to get billionaire friends? Fuck.
I don't know. I would like one.
Exactly, right? We were talking about CEOs the other day, and I was telling you like how they, in different companies I've worked for, they just get canned here and there, but then they're like making billions of dollars. So what do they care? It's like, fuck, man. Why am I doing this shit?
I'm going to just become a CEO.
Exactly, man. But you are the CEO of your own little spots, man. You guys are all.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're hanging in there. So what else did we want to talk about? So actually, we wanted to talk about. We were talking about a little bit before, and I don't know. We've got a couple more people in here now. We started talking about the whole idea of how we started in watching Muay Thai and which were the first fighters that kind of got us into it. I'm sorry. And for me, it was watching Buakaw and K1 Max back in the day. And then also like, John Wayne Parr, Dwayne Ludwig, Sean Madden was telling us it was Dwayne Ludwig. I was watching Kung Lee and Rudy Ott and these guys that were doing things in the Sanchow. How did any of you guys that are listening, how did you guys ultimately get into Muay Thai, or was there a specific fighter? Was there a show that you saw? I mean, and one thing we touched on was back in the day, how a lot of us had to like search for DVDs and like online files of like fights that happened months ago in order to watch, some of our favorite fighters. And that's kind of how we got into it. I remember I ordered a DVD of Sarmkor Kyatmantip was his name, I watched videos of Sarmkor, and that's kind of like how I first got into Muay Thai as well. So we were talking about that whole history, and if you guys want to chime in and tell us who was the first video you saw, you were like, oh shit, I want to do Muay Thai or kickboxing or full contact, because I know there are people that are from that age group, Pete. Oriental rules. Yeah. Oriental rules. With the Don the Dragon Wilsons and Benny the Jet Urquidez and all those guys. So we were talking about all this, just trying to talk about Muay Thai history and have fun with it and like keep our minds off this whole coronavirus thing. But Vinny, you brought it up, so you fucking depressed everybody, man.
I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Well, didn't you have other things that you wanted to talk about, or were you just hoping that we had an interactive audience that was asking questions?
We did have an interactive audience for a bit. And now
if you look back, there's only like 4 comments.
And 4 of them are from Anna, so. Oh God. Yeah.
Well then on that note.
I'm just trying to see. Okay. Yeah. So so we had a lot of what was I going to say? We had a lot of technical difficulties trying to start this. We started one, then deleted it. It was terrible. You couldn't hear Vinny. I was echoing like terrible. So So this was our first attempt at a Facebook Live. If you guys just joined, we've been doing it for about an hour. Oh, shoot. There we go. Ooh, there we go. Pete Peterson. I was a kickboxing back in 91, 92. Was inspired by Rick Rufus and Dennis Alexio. Dabbled in Muay Thai, but had no desire to fight those rules. Knife instructor workshop. God damn, man. Such a savage. Yeah, man, those are the guys. Like I was saying back in the day, Pete. The I guess it was what they were calling that full contact rules, right? The American kickboxing full contact rules with Rick and Dennis Alexio and all them. I think for a lot of a lot of people, that's kind of how they got started too, was watching those guys. Back in the PKA days, that's what it was. And JJ, I wanted to train to be a combat sports referee. That's how I found Muay Thai. Yeah, JJ, man. I mean, it's funny, man. You've been kind of you discovered Muay Thai, but you've been kind of always been. That's awesome that you've always wanted to be a ref, and now you're like one of the guys for Muay Thai reffing in the U.S. for combat sports reffing here in the States, man. And glad to have you as part of this whole journey that we're trying to get everybody educated on that. Rami. Yeah, well, I think that was actually a lot. Remember we did it's funny that Rami Bloodsport made me want to do Muay Thai. Remember we did that we did an episode back in the day, remember Vin, that we did one where we went through like kind of the old oh shit. The movie. Bento. What's up, Bento? Damn.
We got White T Danny B on board too. We did an episode. I think it was when the Kickboxer 2 came out.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, Kickboxer Vengeance.
You were talking about all the old movies. That movie, Kickboxer 2, is terrible. Terrible. But
take it easy, Pete. Take it easy, Pete.
Take care, Pete. Yeah, that was the episode. I don't remember what it was, but we started talking about all movies. But Bloodsport, that was a good one.
Yeah, I think Bloodsport's a classic for a lot of us, Rami. I mean, that was huge. Muay Thai, and Muay Thai was in it with Paco, Paulo Tocha, and then obviously Kickboxer. K2 was a disgrace. Yep. Bloodsport and Enter the Dragon. Yeah, Bloodsport and Enter the Dragon for sure. Enter the Dragon was, and Bruce Lee was a big one for me. I mean, I think Bruce Lee was the precursor to a lot of the Van Damme and the Quest. Great. That's a good one though. Bento. Yeah, for sure.
I'll tell you, what made me, how we started, I said, went to Kung Fu school when I first started. Mm-hmm. What made me do that was because I was a huge Jet Li fan.
Oh, for sure.
All Jet Li movies. Yeah. That's where, my martial arts, initiated from.
That's true. I mean, I got into it too with Jet Li because I was watching movies like, they had these really crappy, I don't know if people remember these, but they did these like really crappy American titles. There was one called like The Enforcer. It was called, the other one was The Defender. Their names in China, in Hong Kong, were completely different. Because there was another one, I forgot what it was called, but
Fist of Legend.
Fist of Legend. Yeah. Which was basically, I think, like a redo of Fist of Fury or Chinese Connection.
But then there was like, what was it? They had, the name in America was like Once Upon a Time in China, and then the real name was Wang Fei Hung.
Yeah.
Like
those were big ones too. Kung Fu movies, man. Kung Fu movies. That's kind of how it's kind of funny because that's how we got into it. Like, I mean, for me, I got into that. I started venturing into Kung Fu, and then with Kung Fu, I found Sanchow, and then Sanchow drove me into Muay Thai. It was sort of that way in, but it was all through. It's funny how for a lot of us, it was through cinema. Cinema was like a big thing for a lot of us, but it was because we were all kids, man. Yeah.
Everybody wants to live that dream,
exactly.
Be the hero.
Exactly. And then, some of us fought and that dream didn't do so well. And then some of you guys in here did really well. Like Rami, kid living the dream for a long time, lived the dream, and did well. But yeah, no, I think movies got a lot of us into it, and Bloodsport was definitely one. Van Damme, The Quest. Van Damme, we talked about Van Damme, how he was sort of like, a lot of people talk, like, I don't know, a lot of people make jokes about Van Damme, but I think a lot of people still love his movies, man. So, yeah.
They're so terribly awesome.
Exactly. They're not great, but they're just,
that's the only way for that I can describe it.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, so besides that, we went into...
What about like the martial arts movies from the 90s? Like Three Ninjas?
Nah, man, I wasn't a Three Ninjas fan.
What about the Ninja Turtles?
Ninja Turtles, the original one, I actually liked it. I didn't like the Secrets of the Ooze and all these other ones that came out.
Come on, man. Secret of the shit.
with Vanilla Ice.
Realize I like you even less now.
Three ninjas. Look at Rami. Rami, three ninjas. I
remember that from my elementary school years.
Yeah. I mean, I remember them. With Colt and what's his name? Tom or whatever his name was. Tom. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we all got into. I mean, that was. I think if you were in martial arts, like, and it's funny because it all ties back into this whole sense of community thing, because that all ties us together in the sense of what all of us watched the same stuff. We were all inspired by the same stuff. The best of the best. Oh, that movie was so good. The best of the best. Yes, Rami, you hit the nail on the head with that one. That one, when he can't throw the final kick. Oh, dude, because he thinks about his brother. Oh man, like the whole thing with his brother and everything. What was the name of the villain? Rami? I don't remember his name. Do you remember the name? What was his name? The guy with the eye patch.
Like a 20-second delay.
The guy with the eye patch. Yeah, taking us way back for sure. But yeah, no, it's that's what I'm saying. It's so funny that we're all into the same thing, because all of the same things inspired us to get into martial arts. And with everything going on, hey, that's what we're here. That's why we're trying to do this Facebook Live podcast, because I think it helps all of us kind of blow off some steam and talk about all this shit. But all right, guys. Well, I mean, I want to thank everybody for joining us. We've been here for like what? We did an hour.
It's got to be at least an hour.
Yeah, it's an hour and 7 minutes, guys. So we've been here for quite some time. I want to thank all of you guys for.
That's about 57 minutes longer than I'd like to talk to you.
Nice. But yeah, so thanks all guys for joining us. Remember, you can tune into the Striking Corner. You see the stuff there at the bottom, at Striking Corner on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our website, strikingcorner.com. Follow me, Eric Rivera _TSC. Vinny, how can they get in touch with you?
On the screen.
It's on the screen.
Vinny Scotto.
At Vinny Scotto. Yeah. You're not Italian. All right, guys. So thanks a lot for joining us, man. And, hope everybody gets through this. And I know everyone's going to get through it, and we're going to come out the other end of it. And we're going to have some good times. And we're going to remember this as just a kind of a bump in the road. So thank you guys for joining us. And we'll talk to you guys again soon. We'll try to do another live, or we'll do another podcast sometime next week. And until then, stay safe, stay healthy, guys. And we'll talk to you again soon.